Boys. The NBC Sports app. Get closer. Additional camera angles, driver stats, and track information available on mobile, tablet, and connected TVs. Download the app. Find out more at NBCSports.com/live. Take a look at the rules for qualifying for Watkins Glen. Just 2 rounds. The first round, the fastest 12 will advance to round 2. They have 25 minutes, and we expect to see more than 1 run out of most of the teams. Only a few will feel locked in to that second round. The second round will then set the top 12, including the pole winner. The track record at this racetrack, 68.113 seconds. And that could be in jeopardy today. We saw some 69-second laps yesterday in practice. Although a green racetrack will make for a change in this first round. Green flag is out on the first round of qualifying, and everyone getting in line.
Well, that's one of my big concerns, Rick. Look at the congestion on pit road. Well, Watkins Glen, after you complete your lap in turn 1 and up to the S's, there's just nowhere to get out of somebody else's way. So just yesterday in final practice, we'll see leaving pit road, the 42 of Kyle Larson leaves pit road, warms up his tires, kind of takes his time. Tony Stewart leaves behind him. He's ready to go. He doesn't want to take his time. So climbing the hill through the S's, Tony Stewart runs the 42 down. The 42 not up to speed yet, no big deal. Well, then the 14 pulls out to pass the 42 into the inner loop, and the 42 decides to try to outbrake the 14 to continue his lap. So this was just in practice, not even in qualifying. Tony goes over in Tony Stewart style and lets him know his displeasure.
Yeah, I think what adds to this pressure today is that we're going to see the possibility of cars making multiple runs in this first section. With this tire, a lot of times cars go fast for the second time out. So if you go out and you're 5th fastest, that may not be enough to sit on. You may have to go make another run. And so as we get late into this session, as people start realizing, oh, I might have to make a run, everybody's going to be trying to get on the track at the same time. So it'll be interesting to watch how the strategy of how many runs you want to make in this first session lays out. Marty?
Well, Jeff, a lot of different strategies down here. Most of these teams completely taped up for this first qualifying lap, but not Tony Stewart and his race team. Mike Buckaravich making the call to leave that car untaped. Just go out, make sort of a half-speed lap here. Not quite full speed for Tony Stewart. Get some heat in the brakes and get some heat in the tires. Then come in, tape up completely, cool down the car, and then make their qualifying run. See the little strategy down here at the first run of the day. You like that strategy for the 14 team?
Yeah, I mean, I like that plan. We've talked about how durable this Goodyear tire is. They have to get some temperature in it to have it really react to how they're wanting. So you have the opportunity in group qualifying to do that.
This is Matt DiBenedetto with the 83. He's the first one on the clock. DiBenedetto, a 25-year-old out of Grass Valley, California. Through the bus stop.
Talk about these curves. You can see how rough they are. They're very high. Cars are going fast when they hit them. So we've seen cars get all 4 tires in the air when they get over the hump.
And that's a great point, Jeff. I was going to ask Steve, do you build the cars more sturdy because of the fact that you're taking a 3,500-pound car and lifting it completely off the ground?
Well, there's a balance there, Rick. You have to build the cars durable enough to be able to run all 90 laps, but it can't be overkill. It can't be heavy and uncompetitive. So there's that, you have to go to notes. We talk about notes when it comes to setup. It's just not setup. The crew chiefs and teams also have to keep track of notes of how the cars look post-event to understand how durable they'll have to be built to come here.
First lap turned 73 seconds for Matt DiBenedetto. Jamie McMurray puts up a lap of 71.8 seconds. Again, the top 12 will advance. And where do you think the cutoff line will be? Probably in the 69 to 70-second range?
Well, here's the issue. You have Jamie McMurray has run a 71.80, and I saw Jeff look down quickly, and he didn't understand how is that possible because he had run a 69.90 yesterday. So that is
over a second.
Almost 2 seconds slower.
Yeah, the 71, the lap he just ran would have been 37th yesterday. So we talked about this track and the rain and the impact of that. And I think right there we're seeing it. We also see Danica Patrick, Reagan, all those guys ran slower.
Danica Reagan,
what they ran just right.
Second fastest. Danica Patrick, third.
I think it's going to be a frustrating session because with 21 minutes left, I know teams are out there trying to work on their cars, but they're also getting heat into their tires, into their brakes, as Marty mentioned, the 14 with that unique strategy. But I don't think we're going to have any idea what it's going to take to make the top 12 until about the last 4 or 5 minutes because everyone's going to continue to go faster.
Yeah, in addition to the tire going faster, the more times you run it, the more times you cycle it, the racetrack's going to be the same way. So this is going to force these teams to try to make as many runs as possible. So potentially these guys that are sitting there waiting to go, that potentially could hurt them. Because these guys, the later you run with another set of cycle tires, you can run faster with a minute left to go in the session. So pressure's going to build on this decision-making process.
Brad Keselowski goes to the top of the chart with a 71.20. Matt Kenseth in the green compared to Keselowski. The strategy that Tony Stewart and his team have employed, going out on the track, not actually taking the green, but going all the way around. Now they're going to tape up the front. They've put some heat in the tires, some heat in the brakes. Good strategy. We've only seen Tony do that so far.
Well, time will tell, but I like the strategy. I like the fact that if you know that your car is going to run faster later, why put the heat in the engine? Make it so you can cool down quicker. Make it so that you can get back on the racetrack at a quicker pace. Now, Keselowski, he's running 2 laps. So what he's done is they've decided to, on the same run, go make 2 laps, and you can see he's faster the second lap than he was the first lap.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I like the strategy with the 14 play, but I don't know if 1 lap is enough. I think even Brad Keselowski, if he ran a 3rd lap, if he had enough grill tape open to run a 3rd lap, see, he's not going to finish that lap. He just ran hard all the way around to get heat into his equipment, and he was already faster than Matt Kenseth. I think these teams have a lot of confidence. They're going to run, we see 71.09 right now. I expect by the end of this practice for the fast time to be in the 69-second range. That's almost over a second faster.
Dave Burns.
Some of the decision-making, Rick, was on whether you run tires, and nice catch there through the carousel for Denny Hamlin. Whether you run tires that have been run a cycle or you run brand new tires. Denny's car was best in race trim in practice 1 on brand new tires. So that's what they chose to go with for the 11 car. We'll see if it pays off. He's in the green.
He's got a good run going. Coming to the start-finish line. See if he can get turn 7 the way he needs to get it. Lost a little bit in 6. Gave up a little speed getting into 7, but he's making it back up on corner exit. I find it really interesting. We're talking about all these strategies, but the team that was second fastest yesterday, Martin Truex Jr., he just got in his car. They had
Put his helmet on yet.
Yeah, they had absolutely no intention of going out early. We'll be interested to see how that plays out for them.
Well, the other thing you have to remember is you have to make a clean lap. You're not going to run fast running in traffic. And with only 13 cars to have made a lap, we see AJ Allmendinger right here coming to, it looks like just starting his lap. He's basically about even with Denny Hamlin right here. You know, you have to make laps and you have to make clean laps. It's going to be very difficult at the end of this qualifying session.
Once you have
Big wiggle there.
That's going to really cost him time down the back straightaway. See the Tigger just continuing going backwards. That's only going to get worse the longer he goes down the straightaway. One bad move in the S's, and it just kills the entire back straightaway. See if he can make it up in the interlude. This is where he's been so fast all weekend.
And the theory for a lot of race teams, guys, was that scuff tires, as Dave was mentioning a moment ago, scuff tires might be better. And actually, the 47 team would love to have a set of scuff tires, but all they had was a set of sticker tires. They never got time yesterday to run in a set of tires. So he went with stickers on this run, thinking it might get faster as they go along. He's back in the green right now. And as far as Martin Truex Jr. and his team, Cole Pern feels like the track's just going to get better as the session goes along. What you were mentioning, Steve, so they're waiting until the track gets better to send him out.
So interesting because Cole Pern's philosophy is we wait, go out there, and maybe make 1 run, potentially 2, where Tony Stewart has gone out, warmed his equipment up, and then he's going to go out for an actual run and still have the opportunity to go out for a 3rd time.
Rico, I think we have to put this in perspective for the fans. AJ Allmendinger, top of the board at a 70.89. Yesterday, he was the fastest in practice at a 69.14. So that is basically 1.6 seconds slower than Rick. We're talking almost 2 seconds off the pace from yesterday in practice. There's no way this track doesn't continue to find speed. And we talk about finding speed. Jeff, this 5 of Casey Kane needs something to turn around here at Watkins Glen.
He had a really good S's, got up to the S's really, really well. This team did not get a lot of practice. They had some mechanical problems. You got more, Dave?
Well, Jeff, it was mainly a vibration in the car that they chased and finally tracked down, and they got it better for Casey, but it was that lost practice time that they needed so badly, and as close to the chase bubble, the standings bubble as he is, they needed that time.
And lost a lot of time in the bus stop.
And this we're comparing against Allmendinger right now, and Allmendinger all weekend has been really good to the bus stop, the long right hand of the carousel. This left-hander we saw Allmendinger, he made most of his time up in this left-hander and in turn 7 this right-hander. So Casey Kane a little bit off pace, but most of it was in the interloop in the back half of the racetrack.
And equipment's important. I don't want to discount equipment. But when it comes to the interloop, you have to have a car that does what you want to do. But as a driver, Jeff, I really believe that's the area of the racetrack that the driver has the most effect, is through the bus stop. How he hits those curves. We saw the slow motion shots where the tires are off the ground. Right? They're not gripping the ground. How the driver gets through the interloop can change everything.
Pointing the car as they enter and where they're headed through. And we're hearing the caution has come out now. There is some debris in the interloop.
Oh, Rick, that's just going to make the lap even more crowded. You see right here, Paul Menard on a decent lap turns into the first right-hander entering the interloop, catches that curve, and then just way out of position. Never even close to making the corner. You know, we talk about how fast this racetrack is and how much you have to attack it. That's how easy it is. I mean, he missed perhaps his braking mark or perhaps his speed by just a few miles an hour, and that's all it takes. That car is not going to change direction like he needs.
And limited amount of time, obviously, in this session as the clock is on hold at 15:19, so they can clean the track up.
Hey, Rick, we've only had 17 cars run.
Right.
10 minutes are gone, and we only have 17 cars left. I'm telling you, the last 3 and 4 minutes of this practice is going to be crazy because we're going to try to have 15 or 20 cars on a road course. There are going to be drivers in other drivers' way. There's going to be some disappointed race teams. It's going to get very hectic here as the time runs down.
Yeah, chaotic with all of the cars trying to get out onto the track, but yet have an open track for them to do the best they can to get a good lap.
Yeah, because remember, this isn't like an oval where the spotter can stand on top of the stands and see the whole facility. Why there are spotters up on top of the front stretch, and they can see cars down the front stretch and into turn 1. They can't see all of the S's. They can't see the back half of the race course. So, you know, it's really up to the driver. The driver's going to have to really pay attention to his mirrors to not get in other people's way.
But talking about the interloop and how difficult it is, watch Paul Menard behind the 5 car. As he brakes, watch the car. See it wiggle right there, turns to the left, turns to the right. That's under braking. So he's got a little bit of problem way before he got to the interloop. So that messed his rhythm up, that messed everything up in getting to the interloop. I know that looked like a small thing, but he's probably carrying too much speed to make this second part of the interloop. So the problem happened way on the straightaway. It ended up happening, you know, what we saw, the net result was him spinning in the interloop, but the problem happened in his braking zone.
How late do you brake when you come into the interloop of the bus stop?
So there's markers back there. There's a stoplight,
right,
caution light, and then there's numbers behind that. You try to get just past that caution light. But again, we just talked about the pace being almost 2 seconds off. Now where's your braking zone? Your braking zone is based off of yesterday, but the track doesn't have the grip to brake there. Very difficult to make that decision.
They're going to clean the track. We'll take a quick break. Be right back.